So I just realized when I like motion to the back or whatever that there might be something going on like a ghost or something in the last video that I have trim. Yeah, I even talked about it and I didn't talk about it. I learned a new skill and that skill is called cutting trim and baseboards and crown molding and then door casing. And let me tell you, that is a complicated process. And the entire time I was trying to figure out like the way, because it's not really that complicated if you think about it. You kind of have 3 to 5 options of where you can put the saw, you know, what degree, what angle, based on what you're kind of going around. And so usually it's going to be either zero, so straight cut, or 45 degrees one way or 45 degrees the other, right? But I couldn't figure out for the life of me like what I was trying to find the trick, you know? And so if I need an inside corner angle on the right side of the board, does that mean that I get an exterior? If I leave the saw in the same position, does that mean I get an exterior angle on the left side of the board? So there was a lot of waste, there was a lot of confusion, there was a lot of brain hurty-ism, but I managed to do it. It's crazy. Like everything downstairs is like fully cased out, just waiting for me to caulk it and paint it. And I don't think it's going to stay white. What do you think? If this room stays completely navy, doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing today. We're making more moon soaps, and I will tell you more about that in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for the third and fourth soaps in the Moon Soap series, and we're going to be playing with the scents from Cierra Candles that could discolor. So, what I'm going to be looking for with these soaps is, first up, are they actually going to discolor the way that it is claimed in the soaping notes based on my recipes? So again, with my recipe, I have a lot of kaolin clay. I put tons of kaolin clay into every batch of soap I make, because I love what kaolin clay does to soap. I think it makes it a superior bar of soap. And that can sometimes mean that the discoloration is less likely to happen. That said, while I will be testing that with some white portions of the soap to see what it actually does, I'm also going to just assume that it is going to discolor and really lean into the darker colors with the moon series. And so we're going to be doing a blood moon and probably a harvest moon is probably what you would call it for this one, for these two, and play with these scents. And so I will be using lots of earthy, goldy, bronzy colors, as well as, you know, some reddish kind of. I don't actually stock red anywhere in the shop at all anymore. I hate it. I've decided I hate red in soap. Wild hot take. I know. We'll talk more about it when we get into the video, I'm sure, probably. But we're going to be having a lot of fun with all of this, continuing to test, build the entire line, and see what we have at the end of all of it. And I hope that I have glow-in-the-dark footage to see if anything glowed. So, you know, fingers crossed for that. But for now, let's go to that, and we will do all of those things. Okay, so on to the discoloring soaps today. We are going to be working again with the Cierra Candles sample scents that I was sent for the fall/winter collection. We are going to be making some moons, and I am going to be using Sparkle Sunshine with this vanilla ode that has a vanillin content of 3.95, and we'll be working with that discoloration in some portions of the actual pour itself. So I will be using a black, which I think is the same Steelworks that we used yesterday from Mad Micas, and gonna be doing probably continuing on with the, oh, I'm also using Metallica, and probably continue on with the like faux funnel column pour, you know, design or whatever, because again, I do want to be able to use this within a bigger column and pour. And I actually got a really good idea from, I think, Kelsey in the comments yesterday for the column when I was talking about wanting to continue to do the black that I'd put on the first soap that we made yesterday, and how that would be more difficult within the column. And she had a great idea. So I think I'll definitely be employing that when we do the actual big pours for these. But for now, this is just testing the scents to see what they do within my recipe. And my recipe is equal parts of coconut, olive, and palm, 5% super fat, 2.4 times water to lye, basically, because I put in a crap ton of kaolin clay. And I want you to pay attention to these soaps. Everything is soaped very, very cold, which I think I mentioned yesterday. So I am getting it to, oh my gosh, almost a near emulsion. But if you pay attention to all of this batter as it's pouring out, especially with these initial stages, you will start to see separation. That separation is not a cause of the scent. As you can see within this white here, I've yet to put in the scent, and it is separating as I put it into the Metallica. I'll give you a little closer look there. So it's separating. Now, what does that mean? That means false trace. That means that I am soaping at a near emulsion. What does that mean for your soaping? Reasonably nothing in most circumstances. Now, it can mean a lot of bad in certain circumstances. I tend to C-pop all of my soaps. And so that means that after it has been poured, I put it into the oven and make sure that it hits an internal temperature of around 160, maybe 180 degrees to really help out with, well, saponification, speeds all that up, which is great, gets the curing started a little bit faster, but also, more importantly, with soaps that are at a near emulsion, which sometimes I found I need to do for more complicated pours, that it will actually finally hit that proper emulsion because of the extra heat. And I will be, therefore, dealing with soaps that are not weird or crumbly or what have you after we're done. Now, when you have soaps that have sort of separated with a false trace or whatever, not to worry. You're continuing to blend everything as you're putting your colors and your scents and everything in, as you can see me doing right here. So all the batter itself will continue to stay nice and fluid, and you'll be able to get that separation back in order, and you can hit your emulsion again, even if you pour everything out into these separate containers to create, your different colors, as you can see with this. As we're pouring in, there's no separation at all. Looks like very beautiful, very fluid soap batter. So do keep that in mind whenever you might see that in your soaping, journey. If that is the case, just take your whisk back to it real quick and give it a little mixy mix. You can do that before you even continue to separate out for your colors if it makes you feel better. But if you don't do that, it's never ever been a problem for me. So I've done an in the pot swirl, in the container swirl, with the three colors for the main base of these particular moons, which I think we decided to go with blood moon-esque for this, I suppose, with the reddish colors. I don't actually use red at all anywhere anymore. I don't stock it in the shop. It's not my journey. Red soaps are strange, and so I really lean into doing oranges and the more coppery, dark, metallic type colors in order to actually hit my reds when I need to. Of course, also leaning into different clays to create good reds, but I didn't do that with any of these soaps. Didn't put any extra stuff in it. Because I want to test the fragrance itself, what it's going to do, I want to be able to do that with just a standard batch of soap. So my standard batches of soap always include kaolin clay, but they don't always include things like a red clay or everything else is, what do I love using? That one that's red and beautiful. It escapes me at the moment. But so I want to make sure that it works with just the kaolin so I don't have any issues that would otherwise have probably been caused by a different addition of a clay, if that makes sense. And on to the second today, but the fourth and final moon soap. And We are going to be working with the, I believe, crisp juniper. I don't know. We shall see. I did forget to take some of the oil out of the batch to get my colors in for this one, and so I'm trying to pour it out as well as possible without getting too much of the kaolin in it. And candied juniper berry is what we're working with. I really love this candied juniper berry scent. Very, very delightful. This Goldfinger, lovely color for sure. I feel like I have a bunch of it right now, and so I'm going to be putting it in a, yeah, I got a crap ton of it. I am getting ready to either ditch Mad Micas in totality or just buy the full Monty again. And until I figure out which I'm going to do, I've just sort of been letting everything just be gone and just go out of stock. And so I'm playing with, as a result, micas that I haven't touched for, the entire year or several years when it comes to like my whites and my blacks. And I'm going to effectively use them all until they're gone. And then I'll make a decision as to whether or not I stick with Mad Micas or I move on to a different mica company. It's not because I don't like Mad Micas, I really do. But I also want to, give love and show other companies, some support and whatever and play with their micas. So there's that. So I might be doing a whole lot of Goldfinger moving forward for the rest of the year. Now, with this, I don't know if any of this footage actually captured it. And if I already did it and I was just gabbing away, my bad. But I did use the glow in the dark powder stuff with both of these soaps into the main base itself. And I did that because I want to see what this glow in the dark stuff does. And I did manage to get to the shop this morning and pop into, the dark hallway or the bathroom and show the glow in the dark, ness of it all. So be on the lookout for that one. Now, I think I said yesterday that the second one that we made was more like a harvest moon. I don't really know if that's the case because this one with the goldy oranges, I think that's probably going to be more harvest moon-esque. And I am leaning into the potential discoloration, I believe, of this candied juniper, but perhaps not. Anyway, with this particular soap, you can also see with the batter there in the right, the bottom right there, you can see how it's starting to separate there on the Pyrex. So same thing as with the other one, soaping very, very cold. The lye solutions were there overnight. And, when you're soaping at 60 degrees in the shop, it's chilly. It's very, very cold. So false trace going on with all of it, but you'll see whether or not we have any problems when we remove these from the mold. Spoiler alert, there are no problems. And with this candy juniper berry, the scent, going back to that, really, really delightful scent. I don't remember what it is that I said, but luckily I wrote it down, so it's in my notes because I really, really enjoy this scent. I think it would be something that would be really bright and clean and awesome for a number of things within a line. The Midnight Ode, it's fine. It's good. It's a very kind of basic, kind of generic, like vanilla type scent. And so for that purpose, it's great. But there are other scents within Cierra Candles line that are very midnight vanilla-esque, that have like the musk and all of the jazz that are better for me because A, I like the scent better, but two, they don't discolor. I've talked about the rose vanilla a lot, really like that as a blending tool. The vanilla embers, I'm pretty sure that is that one doesn't discolor. That one's delightful also as a blend, or you can use it on your own. But I basically blend a vanilla into almost anything because I just love vanilla quite a bit. So I do like ones that don't discolor, so I don't have to really worry about forgetting, essentially. And it's always fun to have a scent that is a vanilla scent that doesn't discolor. Like, how cool is that? I know, it's awesome. Now, with this pour, basically the same thing. I poured a little bit in, going to create like a ring of the white is the idea. And the taller the column is, I think the more pronounced the ring will be. So some of the soaps will just be like a little moon inside a moon on one side if you're doing this with a column, but the bulk of the soaps throughout the middle should be just the white ring around this 3-color swirl, which is kind of cool. almost like a rimmed soap, but not having to do a rim soap. I haven't done a rim soap in a really long time. Like a really long time. I have not been able to play with fun designs or anything this year. And I know I was griping about it in yesterday's video as well, but it's still true. Haven't been able to play with a lot of fun designs. And so as I'm thinking about that while I'm talking about different types of designs, I'm really wanting to just do that and do all the playing. And I don't know, maybe actually take it seriously and get good at crazy designs. Maybe I'll even do a pull through, until I'm good at it after, a decade plus of not being good at it and just using the whole I'm busy as my cope. You know what I mean? So I'm going to blend in this black into portions of this, try to create like some shadows and whatever that you see on the moon. I don't know what any of those things on the moon are. I'm not a big moon knowledge person. I bet there's a name for that. I don't know any of that stuff, but they're cool, And when I get to see the moon up here in the Pacific Northwest, it's very magical. It's very, very fun. We very rarely get to see the moon up here, though, because we usually always have clouds. We've had a crazy fall this year, though, so far. Very little rain, gorgeous days. It's supposed to be like 75 degrees today. It was a beautiful day yesterday. Got to go hang out with the Soap and Clay family, with my parents and my brother and sister-in-law and their kiddos. It was an awesome time in the beautiful sunshine. Loved all of it. But yeah, no, moons, probably, if it is a full moon type, this probably would be the time to see it. I don't know. Is it full moon right now? I have no idea. I'm making moon soaps, don't know anything about them. Okay, and on to the reveal. And these were all poured at the same time as the other two soaps that we made yesterday. And they're all being removed at the same time. And so, overnight they sat and they come out of the mold really easily. This is the first one. All those gold sparkles. That's so beautiful. I love how those gold sparkles showed up in all of that. It's very stunning. So this is the one done with the Midnight Ode. And smells great. It's very strong within the finished soap for sure. Definitely survives saponification without any problems whatsoever. I do want to cut into this and see what it looks like just inside, just kind of dealing with just the 3-color swirl. And that is lovely. That is absolutely gorgeous. That is just so... You know what? When you do good things, you be proud of yourself and say, I did a good thing. I did a good thing. I love that. That's a really pretty moon. I don't love the little air bubbles, but that can be, well, it can be fixed by the way that I'm going to do it, which is just take little pieces of the stuff that oh gosh, that's so gorgeous, that I'm sort of shaving off and putting it into the little bubbles. Or you can plan ahead and put your little trays for your soap there on another tray. So you're going to put a box in another box and smash it with a hammer. But instead of smashing it with a hammer, you are going to take the tray that your tray is on and you're going to bang it on the counter. Like when you're trying to get air pockets out of cake. Although I did hear that you're not supposed to get air pockets out of a lot of types of cake. So I don't know why I've done that for every cake that I've ever made my entire life. I mean, I know why. It's because that's how I was taught to make a cake. But I don't actually think that's the right way. Somebody should weigh in on that. Let me know if I'm doing it wrong. But anyway, if you forgot to put that box in another box and smash it on the counter, you can just take little pieces of the soap itself and put it into the little pinholes there, and everything will be great. But they're coming out just very beautifully, very shiny. Nothing special with this batch. We do have a little bit of leakage there. There's a little seeping. So I'd want to go back and look at the cat rating on this particular scent to see if maybe we were approaching a little bit too... I don't think we were though, right? Wasn't the Midnight... Was the Midnight the 7%? I thought that the Crisp Cedar was the 7% and the Midnight was like a 15%. Is that right? I don't remember. Lucky for me, I wrote it down in the book, But it could be either that we're getting a little bit too close to the max scent, or More likely, I might have been a little bit too heavy-handed with that particular portion, or it wasn't properly mixed in while I was pouring that, when I was just kind of eyeballing the scents. Which is a fine thing to do, by the way. You can absolutely eyeball the scents and it kind of all works out in the wash when it's all said and done. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. I love both sides of these, you know? The only, I think, not great part is I don't know how much of the glow is going to show on this darker side. I think just the glow will be showing on this back side because I put the glow and the dark stuff in the white. So we will see that in a little bit. But yeah, the separating your scents, just kind of eyeballing it from color to color, completely fine. Obviously, if you want to be very precise, you can get the scale out and you can get your maths out and determine how much of each needs to go in. But because I eyeball how much of the each section, each colored section it's going to be. I'm not weighing any of that out for this because it's not really a precision type pour. A column pour, a funnel pour, and in the pot swirl pour doesn't really require precision, you know? So I'm just eyeballing that. So how would I even know unless I measured it all? And I did not weigh it all. So it's totally fine for that one soap. That will all end up being great as soon as the cure is over, and you won't even be able to tell a difference between all of them. I think you're definitely going to be able to tell the difference on this guy though, because it came out wonky. These ones are softer. Now, because the recipe is the exact same, and we saw that in both of these we ended up with some false trace and some initial separation, it being softer, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so lovely. It being softer is one of two things. Having a weird reaction with the mica right now, so it's going to take a little longer to cure, or having a weird reaction with the scent, so it's going to take a little longer to cure. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be the scent, although I don't do anything with glow in the dark, so maybe it's that. I don't know. I don't feel like I put enough glow in the dark in anything for it to matter or make much of an impact at all. I do like with the white on this how it has a nice hue to it, which I was talking about yesterday. Again, white micas are not going to be good for actually whitening much of anything, for sure, but they do create an interesting just hue and shininess to it. And so for that reason, like the Sparkle Me Blue and Sparkle Me Aqua and Red and everything that Mad Micas sells, as well as whatever in the heck this is, yeah, it could be totally cool. I love that moon within a moon on that guy too. If I'd thought it out, I suppose I could have made the white part completely black and absolutely leaned into whatever discoloration there would be with the candied juniper berry and just make it black. So on the other side, it's like, you know, a black night and the bright moon in the middle. I did not do that though. Maybe I'll do that for the big pour. But this is ultimately what it ends up looking like when you peel the first layer off there. And it's gorgeous too. I really like that. And yep, I really dig the moon within the moon on the back. So any of the soaps that end up looking like that within a column pour, that's completely fine. I'm happy with it. That's still a representation of a moon overall. Very, very beautiful. It's very weird how my camera is picking up with this little shininess too. It's, yeah, it like does this weird, because it does it with my face as well. So I think I'm maybe being too heavy-handed with my highlighter on my face when I, you know, whatever. Because I notice it when I'm editing my face part, and now you guys are going to look at it and you're like, yeah, that's really weird. But it's the camera picks up some of the shine and just really the sparkles, and it really is like diffusing the, I don't know. That's very interesting. Being able to see it on the soap means that maybe it's an autofocus thing, like, or an auto white balance. I should look at the camera. It's probably not a white balance. There are lots of sudsers that are in the, you know, the sudser community. There are lots of photographers and camera people that know all this stuff, so they'll tell me. And hopefully I'll remember. I don't know. I try to remember. I feel like this is knowledge that I got from a sudser at some point, though. Don't auto white balance. And so I'm going to check my camera and see if it is on auto white balance, and if so, to turn it off. But anyway, that is these 6 soaps, and we are going to go look at their glow-in-the-dark-idness, you know, with all of it. Now, I only put the glow-in-the-dark stuff on 3 of them. So the first one I kind of like flicked on, you know? And the second one I didn't do anything with. And these two got the sparkles within the batter. So we are going to get theoretically 3 glow in the darks with all of this. That's so beautiful. Am I going to use that for my thumbnail? I don't know. Let's find out. I'm very, very excited to see what I use. But so here's the note that I wanted to make sure I left for you. Both awesome, strong retention, no discoloration thus far. And these have been curing for 10 days at this point, maybe. And they have not discolored at all in that time. So the colors are what they are. And you will get to see them, kind of right now because I went and got the glow in the dark stuff, today. And so that's 10 days out from when I made it. And so yeah, this is the crisp cedar something something. And that's what it looks like in the light time. And just in my bathroom there at the shop. And yeah, that's cute. The little flicker worked. I like it. I'm not mad at it. It's very interesting. And this is the first, so the vanilla oud guy. And let's see what it looks like. Very, very pretty. I like that. Glow in the dark totally worked with that. So I was wrong on the whole, you're not going to be able to see it in your shower. You absolutely would for the first one, And that's in the complete darkness. Very cute for the midnight ode thing. And then this one would be the juniper something something, the candy juniper. And that's adorable. It's got some darker flecks and all of that, as well as the overall white. And yeah, nothing from the dark portions are glow in the dark because I didn't put it in there. But it's cool. They totally worked. They're moons. And I think I can totally turn these into, awesome things for columns. And these scents, awesome, especially 2 of them. And there it is, the 3rd and 4th. So all 4 soaps are done for this moon series. And yeah, they're all super cute. And the scents are really, really great for these ones too. Very strong. We definitely have some more musky tones within both of these. And they're pretty delightful. They really fit the bill for a fall specific, soap. So I do love them. They're really good for that. The second one that we did yesterday, that one year round. Do it year round. The first one we did yesterday, that one's apple. So if you like apple, go off, live your best life. I love that for you. These 2 I think will definitely be put into my fall line next year, again, because I really do like the scents. And assuming that Cierra Candles stocks them again next year, I'm definitely going to be picking them up. Like them a lot. For the other 2 that we didn't do, like the pistachio amaretto or whatever, smells a lot like almond. You get more almond than kind of anything else within all of it. So that's definitely going to be reserved for the winter soaps. And I forget the last one that I held back. I think I held it back because it's not going to discolor. And it also smelled very, holiday. So be on the lookout for those. We'll be doing something different with those 2 at a different point. But for now, those are the moon soaps. If you're interested in purchasing them, you can do so at soapandclay.com in like a month. Because I just made these. You can't have them right now. One of the things that also, of course, is always a struggle within all of our lives when we're doing the whole soapy business and everything, when you're running a shop, you have the employees, you have the classes, you're trying to do the videos, and, then all of the web stuff on top of that. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I will be ready for Christmas, even if I don't sleep. But I like sleeping right now because I'm still tired. It's still the same day. I talked about that in yesterday's video. I don't know when this camera is going to decide to stop working again. So I figured just do them all, So anyway, I hope you guys had a good time today. I hope you guys are having an excellent weekend. I will probably be back tomorrow with the next round of awesomeness because I have a lot of footage to get through, and the more things that I can just take and put into a video, even if it doesn't make sense with what we were supposed to do for year 4 or with what we're necessarily doing, whatever, I can talk about the wildness of whatever I'm, putting in. And then it takes one extra chunk of footage from this mess of, I don't know what any of this is, So I'll probably be back tomorrow. We're just going to keep going with it. So look out for that. That would be crazy. If I'm actually back tomorrow, the world is ending. I don't know. Sudsers, you were epic. I super hope you guys had an excellent, excellent weekend. More so than just random people, because you guys are better than them. In my eyes, that's what I'm saying. They would never say such a thing about themselves because they're really cool. Anyway, I'm out of here. I will see you guys all again probably tomorrow or maybe the next day, but I'm hoping tomorrow for another round of Mrs. Soap and Clay gets through all of her back catalog of filmed but not edited, soapy journey, soapy fun. Bye.